Hi.
So today we have Kelly Sue, and she's here to talk with us, which is amazing. Kelly Sue has the most amazing fans ever. I'm one of them, which is something that I told her very, very vehemently before this conversation.
We had a moment. It was cool.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here, for being here for all the con and for all of your fans, because they kind of love you just a little bit.
Well, Dragon Con is we didn't talk about this before in the prep session, but Dragon Con is actually really special to me and my family. We were here when my father-in-law fell very ill and passed away, and the show was incredibly gracious and helpful in getting my husband out in time so that he was able to get to his father before his father passed away. And the amount of love and support that we felt here, and just the way people bent over backwards just to move everything and get him in a car was not a thing that you forget. When we were, the elevators at Dragon Con are like, that's, everyone's like, all right. We were in an elevator that was headed down, and somebody got off in a, there were two wheelchairs that got off, and one of them intended to come back on, but that message hadn't gotten across, and so people sort of walked back on, and then the gentleman in the wheelchair that was exiting very kindly and graciously said, oh, no, this lady needs to get back on and get to the second floor, and there was no, there was zero curtness from anyone involved in any of that exchange. It was like everybody's been waiting, but everybody was so cool about oh, of course, no problem, and oh, we're so sorry, we didn't understand, and even the guy who was like, hey, no, she needs to get back on, wasn't like, hey, it was, I don't know, it was a moment, but it was a moment that made me feel the community of Dragon Con is it's so in your face. There's so many people, and it's so, and people who walk around with soundtracks, and it's it's a little overwhelming sometimes, but I'm always struck by the kindness and this kind of it's almost like a mosh pit, it is a giant mosh pit where if you even look like you might be falling, everyone sort of kindly reaches in and picks you up. My first year at Dragon Con, I came by myself, and I remember just trying to figure out where I was supposed to be. I had my little piece of paper that was telling me I don't know how to signing or something, and I was just I have no idea where. And a person walked up to me and she was like, Miss DeConnick, you look like you're lost. And I was just I don't know how you know who I am, but I'm totally lost, and please help me. It was, and I felt like that happened anytime. It's just, it feels very, I feel very safe here. I feel very, very much part of it's a community of people who love things a lot, right? So I think that's a great place to be. Yeah.
We try really hard to make it as open as possible.
Yeah.
I remember talking with someone earlier that they had never been to a place that was so open to so many different, I think they use the word walks of life or something like that. Because there's people in, there's disabilities, people have disabilities and they can still come to con and have a good time.
Yeah.
Or they can be coming from you can have people that are I don't know, business consultants or doctors or whatever that are into cosplay or comic books, but you can also have people the entire spectrum is covered.
Yeah. You get lifers and you get hobbyists, and it's all good. Yeah, no, and everybody's the kind of respect and care for each other is really lovely, and also the hyper organization is kind of phenomenal. When you think, I was my assistant came with us this year, and she came for the first time, and she's a budding comic book writer, and she's very excited and also just a little nervous. She's heard about Comic-Con or about Dragon Con rather, and I was explaining to her that like it's volunteer run, and her first like she was like, there was like, no, it's you'd think, and yet because everyone understands that that this is volunteer run and that it's all charity. There's this like everybody is so on the team, you know?
Yeah, everyone pitches in. It's like you take on that little shred of responsibility, but there's like 3,000 of us, so everyone comes together.
That's super
and
cool.
puts it all together.
That's super cool.
Yeah, no, it's really nice. It's pretty cool seeing it all come together.
Yeah.
Because we came here on Wednesday and this entire place is empty or semi-empty, and within like 24 hours it's completely like set up and ready to go. It's pretty epic to see the entire. There's people that have created like time-lapse videos.
Oh, really?
Of like just the build-up.
Oh, I bet that's amazing.
It's
Yeah,
it's really
yeah.
cool.
My first year here, from like I came a day early, and like between checking in and getting up to my room, I saw 2 people who were like passed out drunk, and I was just like, oh no, and I've gotten into something awful, and then like, it turned out to be no, they're well taken care of. They're going to feel bad tomorrow, but it's okay. We'll bring them water, and everyone was well.
It's a work hard, party hard kind of thing.
It was funny. Like one of the security guards downstairs in the Hyatt was like, you know, he's got this little thing and he's like telling people where to go, and he's like, don't go to bed drunk tonight. You know, he's like, you'll feel bad tomorrow. Drink a lot of water. Like, what are you, like, house mom? It was awesome. It's great.
Have you ever walked around con at like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. or anything?
No. No. I go to bed really, really early. I go to bed at 8 o'clock on West Coast time.
I read this.
Yeah.
I kind of may have researched you a lot.
That's what a good interviewer does. Congratulations on being excellent at your job. That is the thing I like in a human.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I was reading up on you, and there was an interview that you did that you talked about like your entire schedule, and so that you wake up at 3 a.m. and you write until like 5:30, and then you take care of like because you have kids and family and home. And
I'll be honest, I haven't kept that schedule regularly. That probably lasted another year after I wrote that. But I do go to bed with the kids. 8 o'clock is a little bit of an exaggeration. I used to go to bed at 8, but I'm in bed by 9 most of the time, and I'll probably stay up and read until about 9:30, and then it's lights out for me. But yeah, I missed that schedule. I was very productive on that schedule, but
very hectic.
It's not, and I never had to set an alarm. I always did it without an alarm. It was like if you go to bed that early, you just kind of wake up.
You get enough sleep.
Yeah, it was really nice to be able to have that quiet time in the dark. The way I used to say it was that. My internal editor was still asleep, and so I could like actually get pages out without that voice in your head going, "You're garbage," you know.
And all of that is wrong. Why are you writing this?
Yeah, you're wasting your time. You should clean the kitchen, you know. But and then that voice is useful later when you need to edit it. But when you need to get it out, the voice is not useful at all.
I've heard it called the vomit draft.
Yeah.
It's just like literally, this is the idea, take it out. It's a lot easier to edit than edit something you've written than editing a blank page.
Yeah. You know? There's a theory of swoopers and bangers, and swoopers are much better at getting the vomit draft out. The like swoopers will just come in and like lay it down like you know, taking the big pass. My husband's very good at that. I am a banger, so like I write 5 words. I erase 3. I write it, you know, like, so it's hard for me to do that, but I'm better at it early in the morning.
It's a great idea in theory. It's a lot harder to execute than it sounds.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
For
Well,
people.
I think, I mean, it takes, I just wrote about this in our newsletter, but it takes courage to take, so people will often think that the idea is the magical part, right? They think that like oh, it's the the idea. Like you'll meet somebody at the party and inevitably who finds out you're a writer, and they're like, I have this idea. I'm going to tell you the idea. You write it, and then we'll split it. I'm like, no. Ideas are cheap. Like you have so many ideas a day, and you will have more ideas. And ideas are nothing. Our ideas are not the gold. The limiting factors are courage and time. And it takes courage to take your idea, which is, it's perfect as long as it's in your head. But when you take it out of your head, like that, the kind of Harry Potter, like with the pensieve, like when you pull the idea out of your head and you put it down where you can see it, well, suddenly with that perspective, you're aware of all the holes in it and the imperfections, and it takes courage to look at that, right? Because it's disappointing. And then it takes time to do the work to turn that idea into something that you might want to share. And but the thing is that, like, if you get the idea out and you do the work, then whether it's a perfect book or not, and it probably isn't, and that's okay, you're a writer. Like, you die a writer if you finish that process. If you die with that idea still in your head, you die a dreamer. And that's...
I really like that. I really like the way you said that, because it's all about the execution.
Yeah.
It's not like you can have as many, like you said, you can have as many ideas as you want, but I have a zillion ideas for short stories, right? But until I write them, they're just ideas.
They're just ideas. I would much rather have I'd rather have a crappy book than a perfect idea.
Yeah. I really like that. I think I'm going to go quote you on all the things.
Go for it.
Yeah.
We were going to talk about cosplay.
Yes, we're talking about cosplay.
I blew it. This is my fault. I blew it. Me. It's not her fault. It's mine.
It's not anyone's fault. It's a really good topic to talk about.
All right.
But we can close on cosplay.
Let's close on cosplay because Dragon Con is an amazing cosplay show.
It's pretty epic. I just shot a time lapse, like a short one from the second floor of the Hyatt, looking down.
Yeah.
Because you can see the swaths of people coming in. And you can see everyone stopping and getting asked for a photograph. Can I get a photo with you? And all of these things. So it's pretty epic.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, and what is your experience with Dragon Con, with cosplay? Are you seeing people dressed up as characters from your own work?
Yeah, I am, and I try to articulate to them what a gift that is. It's the affirmation. Like it feels like the universe tapping you on the shoulder and telling you opened the right door. Because I feel like when my work is going well, it doesn't feel like creating. It feels like discovering. And the way I kind of think about it is it's like trying. My husband has this phenomenal metaphor. He says it's like dipping a stick in honey and trying to catch butterflies, which is beautiful. For me, it's more like there's trying to find the right doors to open, and if you open the doors in the right order, then you bring a story into the world, right? And that's what it always feels like. It feels like, oh, I opened the right doors, and then this character came into the world, and now I get to see them walking around, and it's humbling, and and when you look at the time that they take to get all of the details right, and they're amazing and so talented, and it is an incredible gift, and that's very special. And then there's just it's just fun to be here and see everyone and all, what are you into? I'm the person who's crazy into I was at Dragon Con when I saw there was a guy who was dressed as Dave Chappelle, dressed as Prince in the pancake or waffles. Was it pancakes or waffles? It was when they the sketch where Prince blouses versus.
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
You guys.
I'm sorry.
It's my disapproving face. It's all right. Anyway, I saw a guy dressed as Dave Chappelle, dressed as Prince, which is pretty fantastic.
It is. It's really cool seeing what people actually get so into.
Yeah.
You think cosplay, you might just think the really big superheroes or whatever like characters
yeah.
are really well known. But then people come. I saw somebody dressed today as the little girl that blows up into a blueberry from Willy Wonka.
Yeah. My favorite so far today has been Astrid and her dragon from How to Train Your Dragon, and I know that dragon is her mom or dad, and I'm just like,
like the little
good
girl.
parenting, excellent parenting. I really want to say there's also somebody who does Gene Simmons from Kiss. I've seen him. I haven't seen him this year, but I've seen him. I saw him my first Dragon Con. I have a long and storied relationship with the band Kiss. I was in the Kiss Army when I was 8, and I've never actually received my discharge papers. So as far as I know, like I'm still waiting to be called up. Like I'm in the Kiss reserves, I think, at this point. But
that's amazing.
It's cool. But yeah,
that's amazing.
People are so confused by it too. They're like, "How could you?" I'm like, "Shut up! I don't care. I like it. I know he's a jerk. I don't." Like, it's all right. We separate the art from the artist. And also, I don't know how you can love like the people. There will be like there's a dude, Chris Sims. I love Chris Sims, but Chris Sims will give me a hard time about Kiss, and Chris Sims is a wrestling fan. It's the same thing. Like, it's all this performative, over the top, like good guys and bad guys. It's all ridiculousness. Like superheroes, Kiss, and wrestling. It's all the same. We're all brothers and sisters, my friends. So, anyway.
Thank you for this.
Yeah.
I love this.
I've had fun.
I've had so much fun. Thank you. Seriously,
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming out, talking to us, talking to Dragon Con people, because everyone kind of loves you. So I really appreciate you
I love you
coming.
too, you guys. Thank you.
And thank you so much. And so yeah, that's it for Kelly Sue. And
All right.
we'll be back later with more.
Bye-bye.